What's more powerful, what a person believes or the facts? And as I've said before, what you believe. Because a fact, anyone can pick up a fact and put it back down. But when you believe something, then what you believe is emotionally charged and it becomes your truth. So let me tell you a story. And this story that I'm about to tell you about Carl the farmer, after I tell you the story, then I'm going to ask you some questions and how it fits into my model of the mind, the Michonian model of mind, the paradigm that I developed. So let me begin with my story, Carl the farmer. Once upon a time, I had a friend. His name was Carl. And Carl owned a farm. And he grew peas and carrots, you see. But he had 18 acres of land. And he only uses 2 acres to grow peas and carrots. And he had the biggest, sweetest peas you'd ever want to see and taste. And he had the biggest, most juicy carrots you ever want to eat. So I went out there one day. I said, look, Carl, let me plant some apple trees on your land. He says, Sean, I don't grow apple trees. I grow peas and carrots. I says, I know that, but I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about all this land out there that you're not using. You got 18 acres of land. You're only using 2 acres for peas and carrots. So he looked at me like I had 2 heads. He says, come on out here on my back porch. Either you're blind or something's wrong with you, you can't see. But I want you to take a look at it. See all those weeds and stumps and Courbeer cans and rocks and tires? I never grew nothing on that land. I've been living here now almost 75 years. My father lived to be 92. He never growed nothing on that land. My grandfather lived to be 89. He never growed nothing on that land. Sean, nothing ever growed there, and nothing ever will. That's a garbage dump. Can't you see? So I said, look, listen to me. Let me get in there. Let me take out those weeds and stumps and Courbeer cans, and let me just get up in my airplane and plant my apple seeds like I do. And I'm telling you, I can grow some apple trees. He said, look, you do what you want to do. I ain't wasting no time or no money with you. But I'm telling you right now, nothing ever growed there, and nothing ever will. So I get out there, I bring out my people, we put out all the weeds, we take out the stumps, the Courbeer cans, we clean the land, we turn it, we nurture it. Then I get up on my little airplane, you see, and I start shooting down. I have this magic. I got this automatic, seed, apple seed, and I just punch them out like a machine gun. And sure enough, I start shooting them in the ground. And as fast as I can shoot those apple seeds out, boom, 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 they just coming right back out at me. So what happens? I fly down real low, and I see that Carl's got an invisible fan. And it's going 500 miles an hour. So finally I land the plane, and I said, look, Carl, I said, this is not fair. You got to shut off that fan. He said, Sean, I can't shut that fan off. It's only got 3 speeds, fast, medium, and slow. He said, but I'll tell you what. You go back up there in your little yellow helicopter, and I'm going to watch them seeds through my magic seed binoculars. And if I look at those seeds, and if they all marked A for apple, I'll let them in the ground. But if they're not, I'm not going to let them in the ground. And sure enough, I get back up there, and I start doing the same thing, shooting those seeds into the ground, and the same thing happened. As fast as I could shoot them in the ground, that's how fast he kept knocking them down. Everything I did, they kept pushing back up. And finally, after a while, you see, everything slowed down. Everything slowed completely down because Carl slowed down the fan. Once he could see that they were really apple seeds, he slowed down the fan. And what used to be a garbage dump is now an apple orchard. Now, but what happened there? Remember, what you believe is more powerful than the facts, okay? What did Carl believe? What did he believe and why did he believe it? All right? What was his preconceived idea? Why did he only use 2 acres of land? Why was he so convinced that that was it and he couldn't do any more? Well, quite simply, what he believed came from his father, came from his grandfather. They never grew anything there. So why should he be able to grow anything there? And he didn't trust me. And it took me a little while. He was completely inhibited. He was frozen. But what he was listening to and what was he feeding, you see, first there's what you believe. But behind what you believe is a preconceived idea. A preconceived idea is your truth. How powerful is a preconceived idea? How much influence does a preconceived idea have over performance? It's very, very powerful. And here the little voice kept saying to him, nothing ever growed there. Nothing ever will. Who are you to think to do something your father couldn't do or your grandfather couldn't do? And no matter what I said to him, he just wouldn't listen at first. He had to see it. But the most important thing, he had to give me a chance to go in there and turn the soil. Give me a chance to take out the weeds and the stumps and the Courgeette cans, you see. Once I did that, once he had enough time to look at the seeds and see that they were apple seeds, once he started to trust me, then he slowed down the fan of preconceived ideas. Why am I telling you this story? Willpower is the conscious insistence upon staying in the now until the task is which you wish to accomplish is finished. Your will is in the conscious part of your mind. Your power is in your subconscious part of your mind. Your conscious part of your mind is the choice part of your mind. This is what you learn with. This is where your will is. This is the rational part of your mind. This is the choice part of your mind. Nothing changes until you consciously make up your mind that you want to change. And until you do that, you're not going to change. But when you believe something that freezes you, that inhibits you, and you really believe that nothing will ever be different. And here you are, locked in, what I call completely inhibited. But once you open up, once you slow down that fan, like I can't make people do something they don't want to do. But once they just give me a little bit of room, once they open up, once they listen to what I have to say, because dealing with something, whether it's an addiction or a habit or fear or anxiety, well, you don't understand what you're fighting. Trying to deal with something you don't understand is like trying to open up a combination lock without the combination. You can't do it. But sometimes you can have the combination but not have the instruction. Well, you won't do it either. Sometimes you can have both, but if you don't pay any attention, and there's something inside that you keeps telling you, no, it can't be, it can't, well, it can. But once you open up just a little bit, you slow down that fan, which I'm going to show you. I'm going to take you back to my model of the mind, and I'm going to show you how the conscious mind works, and the subconscious mind works, and the preconscious mind. It's my model. It's my paradigm. And you're going to see as I take you through it, that Carl, most people, as soon as they see the model of the mind, as soon as I tell them the story of Carl the farmer, the first thing they think is, well, Carl is the preconscious mind. No. Carl is the conscious part of your mind. Why? Because I couldn't do anything without Carl. I couldn't do anything without his permission. I couldn't go on his land. I couldn't turn the soil. I couldn't do anything. Once he gave me his permission, once he made that choice that maybe I could plant some apple seeds. That's the conscious part of your mind. Now, the preconscious part of your mind, which is the fan of preconceived ideas, he could see all of the rubbish that was there. He called it a garbage, so to speak, dump. He could see the weeds and the stumps and the Courgeette cans and the rocks. But underneath all of that was the message, the preconceived idea. It came from his father and his grandfather. Nothing ever grew there. Nothing ever will. Now, once we were able to get past that part, then we could get to the soil. The soil, in this analogy or parable or metaphor, whatever we want to call it, The soil is your subconscious mind. The soil contains the energy that God gave it, that anything you plant in there properly, a seed, and you allow the seed to get in there, you see, and germinate and become implanted. First you plant the seed, and then it becomes implanted. And by the way, what has to happen to a seed before it can live? It has to die. That's right. The outer part of the seed has to break open. Then the roots go down. Then it's connected with God's source of energy, and it starts feeding that seed. And as it feeds the seed, then it takes root. Then it begins to grow, you see. But it takes time. It takes nourishment. It takes water. It takes sunshine. What's the difference between a seed and suggestion? Nothing. Just a potential. So as I take you back into the model of the mind, and I show you the comparison between the model of the mind and Carl the farmer, then you can see through this parable how they are connected, but how you have the power. Like Norman Cousins says, the tragedy of life is not death, but what dies inside us while we live. All of us have so much potential that we don't even know we have, and we don't even give ourselves a chance to tap into because of the past, because of our preconceived ideas. And you're going to see very clearly how Carl is the conscious part of the mind, and how all of those weeds and all of those stumps and that message that you can't see or put your hands on, but what you believe is a little voice that nothing ever growed there. Nothing ever will. How many of you right now that are watching me talk, how many of you believe something can't be done because it was never done before? And then the subconscious mind is the soil. And you'll see that as I take you and move you back and forth through the conscious mind and the subconscious and the fan of preconceived ideas, and then we tie that in back to Carl the farmer, and then you'll see it all come together. Because willpower is the conscious insistence upon staying in the now until the task you wish to accomplish is finished. Your will is in the conscious part of your mind. Your power is in the subconscious mind. I'm going to show you how to connect the will of your conscious and the power of your subconscious. But I need your permission. I need you to cooperate and do what I ask you to do. Just listen and cooperate, and the rest will come together. But you got to do it my way, 100%. If it doesn't work, I'll take all the blame. But if you do it my way 90 and your way 10, you take all